Hello, fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Deluxe Class Quintus Prime, one of the 13 Primes from the Transformers Age of the Primes toy line from Hasbro. So when I looked this guy up, because I have to admit I'm not super familiar with the characters of the original Primes, some of them I know, some of them not so much, but apparently Quintus Prime was like a guy who went around to different planets and used the Ember Stone to seed life, and it says that he created the Quintessons. Now, obviously, this must be different lore than like the original G1 cartoon, because there the Quintessons created the Transformers, and they're saying that this guy created the Quintessons. So I think this is more like IDW comics lore, which again, something I never really read or got that much into, but he looks really neat. I mean, he has a cool robot mode. The vehicle mode, I don't really know what's going on with this, but we'll take a look. I think a lot of these guys didn't have vehicle modes in the comics, and so they've kind of had to invent them for them. But yeah, standard packaging here. Got a nice close-up of the robot mode artwork there on the side with him kind of hovering the Ember Stone in between his hands. Over here, you have your typical slice of the Ring of the Primes. And then over here on the back, we have some nice product shots of the robot mode and the vehicle mode. And it looks like the little canopy can open and you can pop the Ember Stone inside there. So we'll see how that works out. But yeah, I'm excited to check this one out. Like I said, I really don't know anything about this guy. So I'm going in fresh with an open mind and we'll see how he works out. Let's go ahead, get him out of the packaging here, and we'll take a closer look. So here is Quintus Prime out of the packaging. He's got a pretty cool little robot mode here. He has this kind of like giant, almost like floral skirt covering his entire legs, but it kind of gives him like a robe quality to his robot mode, which I think is kind of neat. He does have these arms here on the side that I'm not 100% sure what you're supposed to do with them. I don't know if they're supposed to be like additional arms for him, because they do kind of have like, you know, they have a hand look and they can hold items. So it's kind of weird though. I almost feel like if they were supposed to be arms, wouldn't they be the other way around? Because then it's kind of like this is the elbow, but they almost look like they're upside down. So I'm not 100% sure what's going on with these, but they're weird. Most of the time, I just kind of tuck them around the back here to get them out of the way. I'd almost rather they weren't there, but that's just me personally. I really like the head sculpt, though. I think that's really cool. He's got the two sets of eyes. Actually, might even be a third set of eyes up there. Just very alien-looking face. I really like that quite a bit. You have the little bit of the greenish gold here as an accent color on top of the green. A little bit of purple there as well. Head just looks really, really cool. I really like the head sculpt. He's also got some giant light piping potential back there, which is really cool. Head's on a ball joint, so you can look up. You can look down a little bit. You can spin side to side. Nice range of motion there for the head. Shoulder, you can move up and down a little bit where it's connected to the body. You can also rotate around there. You can then have another shoulder joint here where the pin is. So kind of two shoulder joints there. You have a bicep swivel, 90 degrees there in the elbow. You can also rotate the wrist, which is nice. You have a waist swivel. If we move all of these skirt pieces out of the way, you can see he's got these ridiculous translucent green legs, which I don't know if I love or hate, honestly. Like, I think they're fun. They definitely look cool. I'm worried how the translucent plastic will hold up over time, but I guess we'll see. But hips, really nice range of motion. You can kick forward. You can kick back. You can kick out to the side. You have a thigh swivel, 90-degree bend at the knee. And then you have some really nice ankle tilt, and you have a little bit of front to back as well because of the way it transforms. You have these panels here on the back. I wish they secured somewhere here for robot mode. Actually, they're supposed to probably peg in on the back here. Okay, so they do. Good, good, good. Because they weren't staying on there for me, but I think maybe I just wasn't pushing them in enough. Okay, good. I'm glad they secure back there somewhere. But yeah, most of the time, you're probably not going to do a lot with his leg articulation. It's there if you want it, which is nice. But because he has this kind of like giant dress robe thing, you're probably just going to stand him there. But he looks neat. Like I said, I don't know much about the character. Definitely makes sense that he would have ties to the Quintessons, not just by his name, but by his overall design, which I think is kind of cool. Really, really like the head sculpt. That's my favorite part of the design. Now, he does have the Ember Stone, which you can see has his little logo there. Very cool, you know, translucent plastic piece here. Really looks neat. Of course, he can hold it if you like, but what I think is really cool, you can see how it has kind of a rounded end to it. And how it works is you can kind of see there's like a gaping hole there in his chest. So if we come around to the back here and we open up what looks to be this little canopy area, which can be a little easier said than done, quite honestly. There we go. See, if I pull that down, then you can see it's a complete straight gaping hole all the way through. So what you're supposed to do is take the Ember Stone and plug that in here. Like so. And then that kind of gives him a core there, which I think looks really neat. That's a nice way of doing it. Keeps it nice and secure in there. Close it back up. No problem whatsoever. And then it's very much integrated into his chest, which I think is really cool. So a neat little inclusion there. His accessory, I guess one of his artifacts. Or one of the artifacts. Each prime has one, I should say. But yeah, overall, it's a neat design. Definitely out of the ordinary, but kind of cool. And I understand that, you know, when someone drew this years ago, it was very easy to make it look like whatever they want. And then Hasbro needs to come and figure out how to make it three-dimensional, how to make it transform. And I think they did a pretty decent job. Speaking of, let's go ahead and get to that transformation. So I will say the transformation is very simple. And, you know, they did what they could, I guess. But you're basically going to take the arms and rotate them up. And then you're going to kind of bring the arms in. And then this little piece on the side here is going to unhook. It actually pegs in pretty snugly. You can see there's a tab here and a tab slot right there. And then you're going to hinge it up over the fists. I don't think you have to rotate the fists in any specific orientation. So I really don't think it matters. But you're going to turn this out to the side. Once again, we're going to unhook this and flip it over the fist. And then you can see here that there is a little notch. And there's a little tab, so you're going to bring this up first and tab it into the notch. Do the same thing over here on this side. And then the rest of it kind of transforms itself. You're just going to push these in as close to the head as you can. These will bend back the other way. And then these will just combine straight down the middle. So we're just going to push these all together. Which can be a little difficult. But yeah, basically just push that all together. Make sure everything is in. And that's pretty much it. The arms just go over the head like that. Then we're going to just kind of move these arms out of the way because they don't really do anything. And again, I don't know why they're here, but I guess it's important to the design. We're going to swivel the waist 180 degrees. And then I like to just completely open up all the skirts just because I think it makes it easier. Like that. We're going to come around to the back. Just kind of push these together. They do not peg into each other. They just kind of hang out. And then these panels that I pointed out earlier are going to flip up. And the slot right here is going to peg into this tab on the back of the thigh. So just peg that in there. Do the same on the other side. And then you're going to come around over here and just kind of accordion the legs up like this. Now they will kind of wedge into these slots on the crotch. So that'll kind of wedge in there and then you just fold the foot down. So we're going to do this again, bring this up. This will wedge onto that little spot and then fold the foot down. So it's really just a way to collapse the legs. I mean, at the end of the day, that's really all you're doing is just collapsing the legs. You can see that there are two tabs here, right there, and they are meant to tab in right here and here. Now, these are definitely kind of a softer, more malleable plastic. So just kind of line it up and pop it on there. They will probably pop off. It doesn't really matter. Same thing here. You have two tabs, and then you have these two spots right here. So bring this down and smash that on there. Again, if they pop off, they just, you know, it's just a guide. It just needs to be kind of in that area. If it pops off, just kind of push. I mean, you're just pushing it down and then just fold these up. And then at this point, I guess just tuck these back. They can go kind of wherever you want. If you want them lower, if you want them higher up, whatever you prefer, it doesn't really matter. They just hang out. And yeah, that is Quintus Prime in vehicle mode. So yeah, I have mixed feelings about this. I mean, honestly, there's not much to it. The arms go over the head. You compact the legs a little bit and that's it. Not really much of a transformation. But I do kind of like this kind of bloom out the back. And, you kind of do have a little cockpit there. You can put the Emberstone in there. I did look at it, and I don't have one handy, but I don't believe a Titan Master will fit in there. I always have such a hard time popping this open. But you can just kind of see with the shape of it, I really don't think one will fit in there, so that's kind of a bummer. But canonically, I think that makes sense. They wouldn't have been around. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, the front of this is okay. The back of it, I feel like, is very much, hey, just tuck the legs underneath. You're not going to see them anyway. And I still don't really know what these are supposed to be. It will be one thing if these were supposed to be wings. I mean, I guess technically you could put them out to the side and pretend they're wings or something, but there's not any real clear direction of where these go in either mode. And so I almost wish they weren't here. I just don't get what I'm supposed to be getting out of those. But yeah, I mean, again, it's a challenge. I understand, the design of this guy back in the day. They never expected to draw his alt mode. And even if they did, they didn't have to physically worry about one changing to the other, so they could draw whatever alt mode they wanted for him. So I feel like Hasbro did the best they could. But, it's not the best alt mode ever. But for what they had to work with, I guess. And I don't know, it's growing on me. I didn't really like it at all at first, but it's kind of growing on me, if I have to be honest. So I think Quintus Prime is a very interesting design. I mean, I love the head sculpt. That's by far my favorite part of the robot mode. But ultimately, I think he's got a pretty cool artifact. He's got the weird skirt robe piece that definitely gives him ties to the Quintessons, and since that's his backstory, totally makes sense. Like I said, I don't really love the vehicle mode. I will admit it is kind of growing on me, but it just kind of feels, lazy. Throw the arms up, crunch up the legs, you're good to go. But I understand that they had, a limited amount to work with because they're working on a drawn design from years ago that was never really meant to be, three-dimensional. So I understand that their hands are tied a little bit. And given that, I think he's a fun little figure. As far as the legs being completely translucent plastic, I kind of love and hate it. I think it looks neat and it definitely, brightens up the area. And I think it kind of makes sense because when you have plastic underneath that skirt piece, it would definitely get lost, but by making it translucent, it kind of, invites light into the area, and I think that kind of makes a cool effect. But yeah, overall, I mean, he's probably not going to be my favorite, but I'm just going to pop him on the display in robot mode, and I do love that head sculpt, so I'm going to get what I need out of it. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below, especially someone who has read those comics and is more familiarity with the character. Does this meet your expectations? Is it what you wanted out of a Quintus Prime figure? And also, what are those other set of arms for? They just kind of get in the way to me. I don't really care for them. But overall, definitely a neat and unique robot. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.